and I'm doing 31 miles an hour right now with just throttle. This bike is quick, guys. Hey everyone, take a look at this beauty. This is the Euphree Stellar Falcon. This is their brand new model for 2024. This is the step-through version with about a 19.5-inch step-through height, according to my measurements, and they also make a mid-step version that's going to be a little bit more rigid for off-road use, but this bike here is a beauty. And I got to tell you, this has some awesome features on it that I've not seen in any other bike that I've tested to date. One is that it has a torque sensor that could be either set for cadence or torque. So if you can't make your mind up on what you want, you have the best of both worlds in this bike, because you could just go in the settings very easily and select between cadence or torque. And if you don't know what that is, a cadence sensor, as soon as you start turning these cranks and it senses the rotation, it just gives you most of the time full power of whatever power assist level you're in. And with a torque sensor, the more you push on the pedals, the harder you push, the more power it gives you, which is what I prefer whenever you have the throttle that overrides the torque sensor. It gives you a little bit more feel of riding a traditional bicycle, and it multiplies your power output. But what is also amazing about that feature here, you can change different settings for each of your 4 modes. You have Eco, Tour, Sport, and Turbo mode, but you can go in and you can adjust how each of those work, from the timing, how fast it picks up, and also the power output delivery that it gives you. And this thing's also rocking a Suntour air suspension front fork with 110 millimeters of travel, so very nice fork on here. It has a rebound adjuster here on the bottom, a lockout on the right hand side, and an air fitting on the left hand side, which allows you to add air to fit your rider weight. Now it does say on their website that this is supposed to come set from the factory at about 95 pounds. When I put my air pump on it, it was about 130, so I went ahead and adjusted mine down to around 95, but technically it should be adjusted about 85 PSI per their manual for my weight. Now you should typically use an air pump that's specifically for air suspension, and I'll leave a link down below for a pretty cheap one on Amazon. So if you're interested in adjusting your air suspension, or if you have one on your e-bike, please check out the link down below. And I'll also put a link to this bike if you guys are interested in picking one up, but make sure you watch this video first to see if this is the right bike for you. And while talking about that, what's awesome is Euphree over the past year or so has been working on their dealer network in the United States, and they're trying to get these bikes into a lot of dealers. So search their website, check it out. If you have one near you, I recommend you go in there to check one of these out in person. But the links I leave down below, if you do want to help support the channel, please consider clicking on that link when making your purchase, and it does help support my channel and me creating these videos. But I want to thank you in advance if you do decide to use that, and if they give me any coupon codes, I'll put that down there as well for you to save a few bucks or get some free accessories, but can't guarantee it. But check it out below. So let's get into some specs real quick, and then we'll take this baby for a ride and see how it performs going up some hills, and then we're going to see what the max speed of it is. So now this bike is powered by a 15 amp hour 48 volt battery, a 25 amp controller down in the frame powering the 750 watt Bafang rear hub motor that peaks out at 1200 watts. But we'll put that through its paces going up some steep hills to see what kind of power it actually has. Up here on the handlebars, you have a really nice set of locking rubber grips. Next to that is your thumb throttle, and then your display that shows you Eco, Tour, Sport, and Turbo mode. It also shows you your speed, odometer, trip mile, average mile per hour, and your battery level over here. And this bike does have a nice adjustable stem that you can adjust. You can angle down or angle up to give you a shorter reach, and if you like to hold your handlebars higher, that's really nice to see on that adjustable stem, just like on their other bikes. And one thing that's really awesome about this is you can go in the menu and change this for your headlight to be either flashing or steady, and the tail light always flashes when it's on, which is really nice for daytime riding, and it's very bright, very nice to see. There's the tail light in the back, and then when you pull the brake lever, both the headlight and the tail light get solid. Or like I said, you could just set that to stay solid at all times. However, the back tail light will still have a slight flash to it. But that's very nice to see for safety, as well as the reflective strip on these 27.5 by 2.8 inch Swaby Johnny Watt tires. It's kind of the cross between a skinny tire and a fat tire, and they're really nice in my opinion. Have a nice tread pattern on them for a little bit of aggressiveness. However, they're still pretty quiet when you're out on the road. So this will make an awesome commuter bike, but still allow you to go off-roads pretty easily. Now the color of this bike is Galaxy Blue. It also comes in Crimson Red, Black Cherry, and Onyx Black. I really wanted the Black Cherry one, but it was out of stock, unfortunately, so it must be a pretty popular color. On the right-hand side of the handlebars, you have a pretty cool bell. However, I do hear that dinging slightly when I hit some bumps here and there. You have an 8-speed trigger shifter, which leads down to the 11 to 32 tooth freewheel in the rear, and it's using a Shimano Altus derailleur to shift through those 8-speed gears. Coming up the chain to a 50-tooth chain ring in the front, which eliminates all ghost pedaling at high speeds. There is no ghost pedaling with the way that this bike is set up, which is very awesome. Also, if you take this off-road and you get a lot of chain slap from jumping up over jumps and bumps, it does have a really nice rubberized thing here on the frame rail to help with chain slap, so you don't have to worry about that nicking up your frame. So that's really nice to see there. And it has a nice big set of plastic Wellgo pedals that are pretty aggressive there on the tread design to keep your feet from slipping off of them. This bike does include a set of front and rear aluminum fenders, which are really thick and heavy duty, and the rear rack, which holds 55 pounds. And what's awesome about this rear rack is the way that it's mounted. It actually looks like it would just move because it looks like it's only mounted here, but it's actually mounted right here, and there's a bar that runs underneath the fender which keeps it tight to here to keep it from moving forward and back. So really nice sleek look there. One thing I do want to mention is if you like to ride with a lower seat height, the minimum seat height on this bike is 33.5 inches when it's all the way down. However, with the suspension seat post they give you, which is about $120 seat post, very nice seat post in my opinion. This is one of the ones I always recommend. If you have it set for the minimum seat height, then it does come down and hit the top of this rear rack. So if you really need that very, very minimum seat height, I would recommend maybe getting a cheaper suspension seat post for about 30 bucks, which I'll link down below in the description. And that way it will only go up and down instead of down and back when going over those bumps. And then it would clear the rear rack. Now, with that being said, for me to get the proper leg extension, I actually have to have the seat up higher than this. However, I do typically ride with my seat too low because I like to touch the ground when I'm recording. When I have it set up high enough for proper leg extension, that seat does not hit the rear rack. It only hits it when it's in the lowest position. Hey everyone, I wanted to jump in here real quick and say that while I was editing the video, I actually received the new updated rack on the rear. It's a little bit shorter, and you can see now that the seat does not hit the rear rack, which is really nice. That's not an issue anymore. So if you do receive the one with the longer rack, reach out to them and maybe they could send you the shorter one, or just request that if you get an early shipment that doesn't have that shorter one on there yet, you can make sure that it's going to. And you can see here that that rear rack will accept their original basket that fits all their other models. And if you're into the bronze sidewall tires, then they are going to offer some different options for the bronze sidewall, which I think is going to look pretty sweet on this ride. Personally, I'm probably going to leave these ones on here until they wear down, and then I'll change them to these. But very aggressive look here on the tread pattern, good for trail riding. A little bit more aggressive than these Johnny Watts that are on here. And I did receive the front basket, which is excellent quality, all aluminum. And you can see here, the light clears it just fine. Really nice, really easy installation. And they are going to make a liner for this basket, which I will be getting. So I'll show you guys that on an Instagram post. So make sure you follow me on Instagram. And one other thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to while I was doing the test ride on this bike is that when you're in pedal assist 0, or basically the pedal assist is off, you still have use of your throttle. It still has full throttle. Now this one has a bug where it does not give you full throttle unless you're pedaling. They're going to send me a software update for this. And I also wanted to mention, when I was trying to change the timing and the power of the torque sensor, I was over in the parking lot testing it out for like an hour, trying to see the differences, and I didn't really notice much of a difference. Now they're going to send me an update, and I'm going to be able to update this bike, which you'll be able to do in the future over the app, and it should resolve that and should make it a little bit more noticeable. I mean, it might be changing and I might not just be noticing, but still a cool feature to have, and it's awesome that they're always updating these bikes. So let's get back to it. One other thing worthy of mentioning is that I got a bar end mirror from them for the side of the handlebar, because those are my favorite mirrors. And I do want to mention that these handlebars are a little bit thicker inside for stability, and that bar end mirror would not go in all the way. So I provided some feedback on that, and they may fix that in the future to accept the bar end mirror, but as of now, that mirror does not work in here. So if you're ordering this model, be cautious if you order the bar end mirrors, because they may not fit. And they did mention to me that they may have some different handlebars on their website in the future for those of you that might want to switch those out. And they also have a set of mounts here on the front where you can attach their front basket. And what's really nice about this is all their wires are hidden down in the stem, just like on their City Robin X Plus. So you don't have to worry about any wires getting in the way or remounting your headlamp when you're attaching that front basket. You just throw it on there and you're good to go. And they're also working on a nice liner that goes in that basket, so that should be available soon as well. But that's what's awesome about this company, is they take feedback from their customers and they upgrade their bikes. They've already upgraded their original City Robin, then they came out with the City Robin X, and now they have the Euphree Stellar Falcon as their next model because people wanted a little bit more of an aggressive look. So pretty awesome to see, and nice to see that they're coming out with some new models. For stopping power, this bike's using a pair of Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, coming down to 180mm rotors in both the front and the rear of the bike. And it also has a really nice heavy-duty adjustable kickstand on it. You can see here the sun's starting to hit the frame here, and it does have a little bit of metallic flake in it, so it really pops in the sunlight. Now, assembly on this bike was fairly easy. All you have to do do is install the front handlebars, the headlight, front wheel, put the pedals on, and then you have to adjust, make sure everything's in line, and then tighten everything up on the whole bike, go over all the nuts and bolts just to make sure everything is tight. It's also nice to see that this bike's also using a through axle as well. That's going to be a little bit more stable. And this bike does include a 2 amp charger to charge that 48 volt 15 amp hour battery. And for weight wise, when I weighed this bike, it was about 76.5 pounds with the battery the way that it sits. Now if you take the seat post out and the battery out, you can get this bike down to 65 pounds for a bike rack, which is really nice. And if you add the front basket and if you keep the battery in it, it makes the bike about 80 pounds because the front basket is about 3.5 pounds. But overall, beautiful, beautiful bike, excellent quality. But without further ado, let's hop on this thing and see how it performs. All right, everyone, here we go. We're gonna go up this hill with just throttle in turbo mode to see what kind of speed we can make it up this hill. So here we go, full throttle. And I do have this unlocked to a class 3 e-bike, 16 miles an hour, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. So 9 miles an hour was the lowest speed that we hit coming up that hill with just throttle. Not too bad. And one thing I want you guys to listen to in this video is the noise that the motor makes. It is a little bit louder than normal. Just something I wanted to mention, that it did seem a little bit noisier than some other e-bikes. So we're going to test out these 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes. So far, very quiet, very nice on the brakes. Hoping you guys can hear me good. Super windy, 34 miles an hour down this hill, 33. Oh yeah, I could lock them up if I really wanted to. Very nice on the braking system on this bike though, guys. I think I read somewhere that it was ceramic brakes, which typically those are louder. These are super quiet, so not sure exactly what kind of brake pads they're using, but I really like them. Very quiet. So let's start out here in eco mode here and see what kind of speed we can maintain. Now I do have all my settings turned down to slowest start and least power. I feel like that's going to be pretty nice set up that way for me. I'm at 9 miles an hour here. I think I'm in about gear 7. I'm going to push a little bit harder and we're going to see if it goes faster. It is a little bit faster, 12 miles an hour. So I think I'm going to keep mine set on the slowest at all times. Go ahead, bumping it up to tour mode here. Going to go ahead and shift up to 8th gear. And going downhill here now. Super quiet now. The motor's not engaged. Really nice cruising bike though. We'll see when the motor kicks back in. And keep in mind, I do have this set at torque sensor mode, pulling me up this hill very easily, even with the settings on the lowest. And 11 miles an hour. Now this is a slight incline, but I'm gonna go ahead and push a little bit harder here and see how much faster we can go up this little incline. 13 miles an hour. And not bad at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and bump this up again to sport mode. And I didn't notice a huge increase there. Bumping it up to turbo mode. A little bit of an increase. But you can always override that torque sensor with the throttle if you wanted to, which is really nice. That's how I prefer my bikes to be. That way, if you feel like you're putting too much effort in, all you have to do is hit the throttle and it will take you up to max speed at any point. All right, so now I'm in turbo mode, gear 8. Barely putting any pressure on the pedals at all, and it's easily taken off. Hardly putting any effort in, and I have this set to the slowest on both the power delivery and the timing, so not putting in any effort really whatsoever. Gonna go ahead and push harder here, and it takes off. So very nice setup here on the torque sensor adjustments. I'm not sure exactly how much power it's going to give me if I put it on the max, but I think the lowest, honestly, is more than enough for the way that I like to ride, because I do like to get a little bit of exercise and do like to put a little bit of effort into it. Got a little turkey here or something going over the hill. Make sure my headlight's on. Oh yeah, it is on. It's on steady though. I thought I had it set for flash. Oh, because I was pulling the brakes. That's right, I forgot about that. When you pull the brakes, it's steady, and when you let go, it flashes. So we're gonna get these brakes nice and warm here and see how they stop at the bottom of this hill. So far, very, very quiet brakes. Let's get them nice and warm. Oh yeah, locks them up, no problem. And I'm barely putting any effort. Oh, that got a little bit loud there for a second. Let's quit pedaling again and start again. I don't know if something was vibrating or what. So once we get on a straight stretch down here, we're gonna test out the max speed with both pedal assist and throttle and see what kind of speed we can get up to. This bike definitely cruises though. Barely putting any effort in. And this would be like if you were commuting. I'm hitting 29 miles an hour right now, 30, barely putting any effort in. And this is my Cadence at 31. Very nice, no ghost pedaling whatsoever on this bike. Set up really well. And this bike's quick. That motor's actually pretty quiet right now. Seems like it's pretty quiet at max speed. All right, coming down around here to the straight stretch. Up over this little bridge here. All right, here we go. This is a pretty level stretch here. Let's see what kind of speed we can maintain. Let's just do throttle only first. And like I said, everyone, I have the speed unlocked to a class 3, so it should go 28 miles an hour, no problem. And I'm doing 31 miles an hour right now with just throttle, down to 30. This bike is quick, guys. And it's pretty quiet now. 29, 30. Now let's see if we can start pedaling and go faster than that 30 miles an hour. And this is on level ground here. 30 miles an hour here. Here's my Cadence, 31. 30. So very easily 30 to 31 miles an hour, and pretty easy to maintain that as well. Very awesome on the power delivery and speed. All right, we're gonna stay in gear 8 up this hill just to see how easy it makes it up this incline here. Not too steep of a hill, but it's crushing it pretty easily. 18 miles an hour currently. 19 miles an hour. Right up it, no problem. Trying out the suspension here. That air fork in the front is really nice. Coupled with the suspension C-post here makes it a really nice, smooth ride. Oh yeah, taking them bumps one-handed, no problem. All right, so now I have it bumped down to eco mode. Just real nice and gradual here. Got a little bit of tight spots here I gotta go through. Got a bridge closed here, gotta go down this side here. Still in torque sensor mode. Not jerky at all, really nice. Let's test out the suspension here. Very nice. See if we can get back up on there. Might be hard one-handed. Oh yeah, no problems. Pretty nice. And let's see if that back bottoms out on this rack. Yep, you can see there where the seat hit the rack on the back. That was off of like an 8-inch drop here. Here's a smaller curb, like maybe 2 inches. And you can see it's slightly hitting it. Only on those big bumps though. If I'm just riding on these little bumps here, it will not hit that rack. But also my seat is really not to the height that it actually should be at. And I'm about 5'7.5", almost 5'8". So if I actually put the seat up higher for proper leg extension, it would clear that rack, no problem. But just something to keep in mind if you want that seat to be down in the lowest position. All right, everyone, here we go. Steepest hill in town. And this thing, we'll see if it's gonna go up this with just throttle. But with this 32 tooth chain ring in the back, very easy to climb up these hills when pedaling. Oh yeah, it'll pull me up no problem with just throttle. But let me show you here with this torque sensor. I'm barely putting any effort in, but it's giving a little bit of power into it, and it's just climbing right up this with no problem. So very nice on the gearing and also on the power on this Euphree Stellar Falcon. No complaints there. All right, now I'm in tour mode, just cruising around town. Very nice and gradual, maintaining right around 8-9 miles an hour, not putting in a lot of effort, but really nice to just cruise slow, sightsee, look around, and just see things that you normally wouldn't see. And that's what I love about getting out on e-bikes and just cruising around. You're gonna go up different streets that you've never been on. Even if you lived somewhere for 20 years, you're gonna just go out and explore. And that's what's awesome about e-bikes. But we're heading to another long hill before we get back to my house, and we're gonna see how this bike does up that hill. I might just try it in gear 8 just to see if we can cruise up it in the hardest gear to pedal and see how it does. But first, I'm going to show you how to adjust your headlight and a few different settings really easily. So to change your headlight mode, you hold the plus button and the power button at the same time. That will put you in to where you can change from standard, that will be a solid light, or a flashing headlight. Just select which one you want, hit the power button again. And then if you want to change your ride style of each of these modes, you hold the down button and the power button at the same time. That takes you into ride style, and you can go in and adjust each one of your modes for your timing and your power assist. So timing is set to slow on eco mode, and also power assist is on low. But what I'm going to do before we hit that last big hill, I am going to change turbo mode for the timing to be set for fast, and also the power assist to be set for high. And we're going to see how that mode does, because I've been on slow and on low the whole time on this entire ride. So we're just going to go with high and high on turbo mode, leave everything else set to slow, and see how it performs going up that hill. Now there's also other adjustments that you can make. If you hold the plus and minus button down, you can actually go in the display settings, set your units from imperial to metric. You can set the auto off for up to 10 minutes, so that's what I have selected. You can reset your trip in here, brightness of your display, Bluetooth signal. I believe they're going to have an app out in the future. Steel number, you do not want to change that. You want to keep that set at 6. You can also change your rad style in here. You could turn your throttle on or off. So if you're in a place that doesn't allow you throttle, that's easily adjustable. Drive mode, that's where you can go in and select torque sensor or cadence sensor. And then if you select information, you can go in there and select your wheel size and your speed limit. Right now I have mine set for 37.5 miles per hour, but you do have to input a password to get in there to change your speed. And the password is 1801, and I have mine set for 60 kilometers per hour. One thing to keep in mind is when you do increase that speed limit past the 20 miles per hour to the 28 mile per hour mark of a class 3 e-bike, it is going to be illegal in a lot of areas. So please check your local laws and please ride responsibly. Don't go whipping through town at 30 miles an hour. But let's get into that hill and see if this bike crushes that one as well. All right, here we go, last long hill. And I'm in gear 8, which is the hardest to pedal, with an 11-tooth freewheel. That's the gear I'm in. It's gonna be really hard to pedal up this hill, but I'm just trying to see if this bike will do it. Like I said, I turned up the max on the timing and the power, and so far it's crushing this hill no problem, 13, 14 miles an hour. Normally I would not be riding like this. Normally I would be downshifting a few gears, pedaling a little bit faster, and probably going up the hill a lot faster. Just wanted to see if it would do it and if it would start limiting me by the time I got to the top. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hit the throttle here and see if it gives me any more power. Nah, it seems like about the same, so about the same power with or without throttle. I'm not really pushing super hard, not even out of breath yet. Starting to level off here a little bit, so picking up some speed, 18 miles an hour. No problem, guys, right up it. Gonna give it a little bit of throttle here because I want to push a little bit less now on the pedals. And the motor is actually not too loud. It's not that bad. It has a little bit of a hum to it. Nothing to be concerned about though. Right up it, no problem. Now let's hit that hill right there and see if we can make it up that with just throttle. Oh yeah, easily 14 miles an hour up that hill. Not super long, but pretty steep. All right, let's go up the first hill I went up, get a run for it, and see what kind of speed we can maintain. Gear 8, turbo mode. I think at the beginning it was like 9 miles an hour. $11 miles an hour that time, getting a run for it. All right, everyone, so there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this video. That's what's nice about a torque sensor. Very easily able to maneuver objects. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it interesting, please consider subscribing and checking out some other videos. See you around on the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone.